Albert Bruneau, president of Neotis High Performance Tube, will present Global Industrial Markets. Albert has held numerous senior sales and marketing management positions, mainly for the oil and gas industry involved in Europe, South America, Africa, and the Middle East. Albert?
Okay, good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Happy to be here with you in Alabama. To be honest, till recently, I thought Mobile was in Texas. And this is because of a French poet, Guillaume Apollinaire. And we were learning at school one famous poem starting like that: on the coast of Texas, between Mobile and Galveston, there is a big garden full of roses. So due to that, I thought we were in Texas, so happy to be in Alabama. Okay, so let's move. Unfortunately, we have to stop poetry and jump into this complex and difficult market. As usual, we are splitting this market. So for newcomers, 8 big segments: power gen, desalination, oil and gas, chemistry, HVAC, shipbuilding, automotive, and other markets. All these markets are consuming titanium as bears, slabs, plates, sheets, tubes, wires, coils, mainly grade 1 and grade 2, but also to a less extent special alloy as grade 7 or grade 12. We estimated 2018 volume based on main equipments, main industrial countries, excluding military application, glasses, sports, or medicine applications. Based on this, we end up with 60,400 metric tons of titanium consumed over 2018. 60% of these for flat products, 20% bars, 15% tubes. Half of this volume is consumed by the chemical application. The historical power gen market is only representing less than 15%. Oil and gas, HVAC, shipbuilding are significant market, between 5 to 9%. Automotive is going up to 2%. Desalination dropped below 1%. 50% of the volumes are consumed in China. Historical markets like Europe, USA, Japan, and Russia are stable, around 10%. India increased by 4% to reach 4%, and Korea decreased to go below 4%. Each country is having a very different mix of consumption. China, main country, is serving main market with 2/3 of the activity related to chemical application. Russia and Korea are more dependent on shipbuilding. India is driven by power gen, and the other countries are more balanced between the various applications. Let's now go to the trend. For the coming years, one important introduction, we know that this trend is highly related to the competitiveness of titanium against other materials, nickel, copper, and aluminum. If today high nickel price is supporting titanium against nickel alloy for applications like oil and gas or power generation, low level of copper and aluminum is a problem for application as desalination or HVAC. Okay, so let's start now the analysis segment per segment, starting with the historical power generation segment. You see here the curves showing the evolution of the installed gigawatt per type of fuel till 2040. I think this is the same story we tell for now 3 years. Quite easy. The renewable energy is picking up, the coal energy is dropping, and you have between the two the nuclear and the gas energy, which is quite stable. I propose we focus now on the investment for 2018. And this is showing a more contrasted situation. So here you have the investment per type of energy, coal in gray, gas in orange, and nuclear in blue for the various countries. So you see that even if coal is dropping, the drop is not that steep. And this is mainly due to remaining strong activity in India. The gas also is dropping. Despite good activity in Middle East and USA, gas investment is dropping because you have significantly less investment in Europe or Southeast Asia. And the nuclear is stable thanks to the large investment performed in China. So now the idea is to dig into the day-to-day business to see how this investment and trend is reflected over 2019. For the coal industry, 2019 has been the confirmation of the record period in India. There has been 5 units invested in India over 18 and 19, North Chennai, Ennore, Tuticorin, Udangudi, and Metri. This is representing 1,500 metric tons of titanium. Other projects, also other coal projects, have been confirmed this year, Tar in Pakistan, Pangle in China, and Atimonan in Philippines. So that means that we should not bury the coal power gen too early. This year we've seen more than 2,000 metric tons of titanium consumed by this market. It's not changing the trend, but we should follow this market. Second power gen market, the gas power gen. Several combined cycle investment took place this year in, for example, Datan in Taiwan, Orot Rabin in Israel, or Siwa in UAE. So this is confirming the strong position of this market. The trend is more than 2,000 metric tons of titanium consumed per year for the years to come. Nuclear. After several years of controversial, nuclear is considered now by many countries as a necessary part of their energy mix, and this including in Japan. This is, according to these countries, the only way to win the battle against CO2 emission. So we see now many new build projects in preparation in Argentina, Brazil, Bulgaria, Egypt, Finland, Hungary, India, Poland, Saudi, and Uzbekistan. So many countries, including some strange newcomers. This move will be supported by the development of small modular reactors. And this nuclear rebirth is really driven by 2 countries, China and Russia. One word in both cases, China, clearly the new Hualong 1 design, the local Chinese design is a success. It is in operation in China with the Fuqing unit, and it will be in operation in Pakistan next year, in 2020. So, in Russia, the situation is even more impressive. You have a very strong supply chain around Rosatom, and they are very successful to export their technology as a VVR reactor abroad. So you have the Akuyu power plant in Turkey, but also some development in Finland and in India. This is why even for Russia we are more optimistic than for China, and we consider the market, including this export project, could reach 1,200 metric tons of titanium per year. And we should not forget the renewable energy. Also, if it's not consuming too much titanium these days, this is having a huge potential with very interesting application. like the ocean thermal energy conversion or geothermal. Very briefly, second market, desalination. We will not spend too much time on this market because unfortunately the trend did not change. Reverse osmosis is leading the market. Some large projects like Jubail 3, which were supposed to be thermal technology, has been confirmed as reverse osmosis. Few projects remain that could be thermal. You have Facilities E, you have Alkirai or Azure North, but we know that even if they are thermal, this is not necessarily titanium, as you could have as alternative copper, nickel, or Albright selected. Third market, oil and gas. We know this market is related to the Brent price. Unfortunately, this price is not back at May level, so this is less supportive for new investment. Nevertheless, this is strong enough in order to justify some strong investment for new LNG units or for offshore platform. One word to explain why titanium is not more widely used for the oil and gas applications. We all know here in the room that with the passive oxide film, titanium is ideal material for corrosion in oxidizing fluids. So why isn't it more widely used? I think there are several reasons and we have to work on it. First, prescribers as NACE or Eurocore, they are more ready to qualify or to consider nickel alloy material for source service applications. And there is a lot of technical work to be done towards them in order to succeed to defend and to have titanium recognized. So this is a work ITA is also deeply involved in. Second reason is the titanium alloys have been developed for military or aerospace application. So they are not really fit for purpose for the oil and gas application. And one example, the grade 7, you have quite expensive grade here with the palladium, when maybe for some application, replacing palladium by ruthenium could be one solution to have one material better position to face the oil and gas need. Last point also is the difficulty specific to titanium. It's a material which is prone for galling. This is also material reactive with hydrofluoric acid, which is often used for acidizing oil and gas wells. And also, this is a material having complex wear properties. So this is not helping when designing a riser. So nevertheless, titanium is used in many cases for oil and gas in the oil and gas industry. This is used for risers, this is used for tubing, for casing, for offshore platforms, and in refineries. And we are confident that with the future substitution from nickel alloy to titanium, the position of this material will grow significantly in coming years. Chemistry. Chemistry, I focus on two markets. One is the PTA market. There is a booming investment these days in China with 5 new plants under construction. So this is representing spot opportunities on this market over the coming years. Second interesting market is the electrolytic application. This market is also growing. It is strong in China, and this is a very demanding market. This is a premium market for titanium because you are facing high temperature, you are facing high concentration of chloride. Okay, a new market, the HVAC, heating, ventilation, air conditioning. This market is driven by the construction industry and by government investment. It's, for example, used in airport, it's used in new urban districts. One good example you may have heard about is the new Hong Kong airport, the Kai Tak airport, where a huge seawater district cooling project is under finalization, and this is a good illustration of application requesting high quantity of titanium. This market is growing significantly, 5% per year. It's also driven by the use of ammonia heat exchanger, which is more favorable to titanium. This is a good market for plate heat exchangers, and more than 4,000 metric tons of titanium have been consumed last year on this product. Shipbuilding. Shipbuilding, 2019 is a very important year for shipbuilding activity. Two major measures occur this year, or they have been announced this year, one in Korea and one in China. So this will totally reshuffle the supply chain on shipbuilding, and this will see the emergence of a more profitable player on this market. Analysts consider that this market is growing by 2% per year, and this is due to first stricter fuel pollution rules that are pushing new designs, and it is also related to the development of the natural gas consumption, requested more LNG carriers and more offshore platforms. Be careful, nevertheless, recently several projects have been put on hold, waiting for clarification on the tariff fight between US and China. So this is like the air freight. There are some international tension that may impact the nice project. Automotive. So 3 years ago, I was even not mentioning automotive during this presentation. And from a niche, automotive is on its way to become a main contributor. And we consider that it could reach 10,000 metric tons of titanium consumption by 2024. It's moving from a traditional market, muffler, fuel tanks, valves and springs, to the more promising electrical car market. And we believe that this strong development of titanium in this automotive market will be driven by two elements. First, the development of the 3D printing, titanium 3D printing, that can be used quite widely for automotive application. And second point is this, the development of a specific alloy. We think that on oil and gas market, a supplier that most of you are, they may be reluctant to make some special alloy, special development, because the volumes and the sustainability is unclear. When for automotive, okay, the volumes are more clear and the long-term trend is better. So this can generate some specific alloy development, for example, replacing vanadium and molybdenum by iron in some special alloy could allow to develop titanium application. Okay, last market, other. Only a few words to say that as titanium become a more common material, there will be a larger range of applications. So today, this market is mainly bicycle, wheelchairs, or architectural. In future, this will become much more than that. To sum up the presentation, here you have the consolidation of the global consumptions. So inside you have the distribution between segments for 2018, and outside you have the distribution for 2024. So you see that there will be a significant reorganization between the segments. If chemical remains the main segment, power gen will drop, and it will be replaced by the emergence of new markets, oil and gas, HVAC, shipbuilding, and automotive. which will significantly increase their market share. So I put a lot of emphasis on automotive. Maybe the distribution will be more split between shipbuilding, HVAC, and automotive than what is presented here. What is important is the trend. We are quite positive. We see a steady positive trend between now and 2024 to exceed 75,000 metric tons of titanium by 2024. But one need to remain vigilant. Behind these nice figures, you see that the situation is more complex and not all markets are well-oriented, or all segments well-oriented. Thank you very much.